So now I'm just going to bring you through some survey results. So in September we sent out a survey to all of our membership bodies, 13 membership bodies that Patrick popped up on the screen earlier, and we asked people to disseminate this survey just to see what the sentiment was amongst the tourism industry as to how the season went. So this went out to all of our association bodies, and then we had a total of 84 total respondents to the survey. So in terms of the makeup of the respondents, 33 of our respondents were hotel accommodation providers, 12 of our respondents were from other areas, so they included a tour operator, there was a bank in there as well, there was various different providers there. We had 8 caravan campsites, 8 retail outlets, 4 pubs, 4 restaurants and food outlets, 4 visitor attractions, 4 self-catering accommodation, B&B accommodations, 3 of those, and there was 3 transport operators and 1 golf course who responded to our survey. So just in terms of what the overall impression of the summer season of 2019, if we take the positive sentiment overall, about 56% of our respondents had quite a positive impression of the summer season. So with our largest cohort, which is 41% of people, 34 respondents saying that overall it was positive. Then we asked in comparison to summer 2018, what were visitor numbers like? So in terms of the visitor numbers, the largest cohort of people, it was overwhelmingly that there was a decrease. So 47% in total felt that there was a decrease, either between 1 and 10% or more than 10%. The largest cohort, 33%, so 28 of our respondents saying that there was a decrease in visitor numbers between 1 and 10%. Next, we asked about visitor spend. And there was a mix, so 39% of our respondents thought that it was more or less the same, and 39% of our respondents felt that there was a decrease. The largest cohort of people, 39%, felt that it was more or less the same as 2018. Then we asked about specific visitor segments. So we asked about the US market, the European market, the domestic market, and the British market. So first off, the USA visitor numbers, half of our respondents felt that the numbers remained the same, so the same as last year. 29% of our respondents, so 24 respondents, felt that there was an increase in US visitor numbers, and 20%, so 17 of our respondents, felt that there was a decrease in USA visitor numbers. When asked about the UK visitor numbers, it was overwhelmingly 61% felt that there was a decrease in UK visitor numbers. 35%, so 29 of our respondents, felt that they remained the same, with only 3 of our respondents, or approximately 3%, saying that there was an increase. When asked about European visitor numbers, there was the largest cohort, which is 39%, so 32 of our respondents felt that they remained the same. 29 of our respondents, 35%, thought that there was an increase, with 25% feeling that there was a decrease in European visitor numbers throughout the summer season of 2019. When asked about domestic visitor numbers, then the largest cohort felt that they remained in and around the same, so 45% of our respondents, so 37 of our respondents felt that they remained the same, with the next 30%, so 25 of our respondents, feeling that there was an increase in domestic visitor numbers this year. So then we tried to go in and ask some qualitative questions just around what the sentiment was. So we asked 2 questions. One was if they had further comments on the patterns observed over the summer 2019, and then we asked what their biggest concern was. So you can see in just in terms of the text there, so the larger the text and the darker the text, the more prevalent those words were amongst our responses. So what I did is I just took a quick sample of some of the responses given. So the quality visitor has decreased, visitor spend is reduced, retail is down, restaurants are down. Thankfully, large coaches decrease slightly on our roads, but more need to decrease. The cost of accommodation in Dublin is a big issue. Most clients have to spend at least one night and are not happy with the costs. There's a big drop in UK traffic late summer. Early spring was better than last year. Way more Irish went abroad this summer and they didn't have to spend when they got home. August weather was very poor. So pending Brexit has a negative effect on the British market. The weather in 2019 did not help our industry. There's a big increase in the number of walkers. There's an increase in the number of Germans visiting the area. So there's also a name check to the Dutch visitors as well, and another comment for Germans and Dutches. and Dutch visitors were mentioned specifically. The increase in our visitor numbers this summer was due to the mixed weather, which suited the nature of our business. Food and beverage spend is down. Visitors are spending with care and paying attention to price. Spend is down in addition to the increase on VAT. It's harder to source and retain staff, and wage costs are up. Late bookers are price sensitive. Various hotels and guest houses have dropped their rates so dramatically that they are harming our overall rate tiers. The marketing of the Wild Atlantic Way overseas is having a major detrimental impact on tourism. More routes into Kerry are needed badly. It was a slow start to the season. So that was just a sample of some of the comments that came in on the question when asked about their overall impression of summer 2019. Next, we asked what people's main concerns for their business were at present, and no surprise, Brexit was the most popular name checked there. So some of the comments were: the volume of visitors seen as a top KPI by fall to Ireland, quantity over quality, no visitor management, but local destinations and communities under severe pressure due to large volume of large vehicles, namely coaches on the roads. Tour operators and coach operators are considered key stakeholders in the county over local tourism groups and communities. Not enough resources are given to local tourism organisations who can make a positive difference locally for a county, particularly in terms of effective marketing and communications. Staffing levels, staff turnover and staff competency. Brexit, high cost of accommodation, particularly in Dublin. VAT is too high, it is strangling my business. The traffic congestion we witness in Dingle, Tralee, Killarney, etc. This is due to many factors, including the unsustainable manner in which we build houses, creating a car-dependent culture. This cannot go on, unless we think Kerry should be nothing more than a traffic jam. Number of festivals not being supported and no longer running. Infrastructure needed to support number of tourists visiting. Brexit. Insurance costs and the impact of Brexit. Killarney's reputation on media platforms this year as being a tourist rip-off. Access to Killarney is very poor and seems to be weakening. The shutdown that occurs from October to March. We stay open all year, but the town dies a sudden death after September. Understandably why, but it's hard to gain momentum off-season. Wage inflation, chefs. And commercial rates, VAT, unable to increase overnight to low mid-season rates due to oversupply of accommodations, and regulate or classify Airbnb. Brexit and the impact that will have, also downturn in the wedding market. A weakness in the US market, FIT and tour groups. The decline in UK visitors and talks of a recession ahead. The lower VAT was very attractive, in some cases the difference between closing and staying open. Staff is going to be a major problem and our government are not one bit worried.